So, let's talk about something that is jumping right out of the pages of science fiction and onto the front lines, and it's happening way faster than anyone thought possible. We're talking about military AI, and this isn't some far-off futuristic concept. No, this is a reality that's reshaping warfare as we speak, so we're going to break down what that really means right now.
And look, to really get what's at stake here, just listen to this quote from the Digital Watch Observatory. It cuts right to the bone, right? The terrifying possibility of wars escalating beyond human control. That single line captures the deep-seated fear that this new technology could literally start fires that we just can't put out.
All right, first up, AI on the battlefield. And I really want to hammer this point home. This is not science fiction anymore. We're not talking about theories cooked up in a lab. We're talking about systems being actively used in real-world conflicts today. And this isn't just talk. We're seeing real examples. In the United States, you've got Project Maven, which uses AI to sift through mountains of drone footage. There are reports of AI-powered systems being used to help with targeting in Gaza. And in Ukraine, we've seen semi-autonomous drones become a huge part of the conflict. The age of AI warfare? Well, it's already here.
But, with all this new tech comes a whole new set of problems. And that brings us to what's called the operator's paradox. It's this incredibly complicated and frankly dangerous relationship between a human soldier and the intelligent machine they are supposed to be in control of.
At the very heart of this is the black box problem. Think about it. An AI can make a recommendation that means life or death, but how it got to that conclusion, that can be a complete mystery. We're talking opaque, unexplainable logic, sometimes even to the people who built it. Now, imagine you're the soldier who has to act on that advice. This puts that operator in a total no-win situation. On one hand, you've got human distrust. If you can't understand why the AI is telling you something, you might just ignore it, even if it's giving you the right call. But then there's the other side of the coin, automation bias. That's where you swing too far the other way and you just blindly trust the system, even when it's making a huge, dangerous mistake. You're completely stuck between a rock and a hard place. So why do these systems make mistakes in the first place? Well, a lot of the problems can be baked right into the system from day one. An AI learns from data, right? And if that data is full of our own human societal biases, guess what? The AI learns those prejudices too. Then you've got algorithmic bias, actual flaws in the code that affect how it sees patterns, and maybe most terrifying of all, in the pure chaos of a battlefield, these systems can just behave in totally erratic and unpredictable ways.
And this all funnels down to the biggest, thorniest question of all. When one of these autonomous systems makes a fatal mistake, who is to blame? Who is held responsible? Because right now, we're staring into a massive, dangerous void of accountability.
You'll hear this term thrown around in international discussions. Meaningful human control. It sounds good, doesn't it? But here's the problem. Nobody can agree on what it actually means. Does it mean a human has to approve every single action? Or is it enough for a commander to just say, neutralize threats in this area, and let the machine figure out the rest? Because there's no clear, legally binding definition, the level of oversight is all over the place.
So when things do go wrong, the chain of responsibility just completely falls apart. Do you blame the programmer who might have written some faulty code? What about the manufacturer who sold the system? Is it the commander's fault for ordering its use? Or do you blame the human operator on the ground who is relying on its suggestion? The finger-pointing starts, and honestly, it becomes almost impossible to assign blame to any one person.
And that leads to this truly wild question, one we've never really had to ask before in law or ethics. Do you blame the machine itself? I mean, the fact that we even have to consider that question just shows you how far behind our legal systems are.
Now, this void of accountability, it's not just some legal headache. It's a massive geopolitical problem because it's actually pouring fuel on the fire of a brand new global arms race where technology is just sprinting ahead of any attempts to regulate it.
And that, right there, is the core of the crisis. While diplomats are debating definitions in Geneva, labs and tech companies are rolling out more advanced systems at a dizzying speed. The gap between what the technology can do and what we as a global community agree it should do is getting wider every single day.
So let's take a quick look at the major players in this race. You've got the United States, focused on keeping its technological lead and weaving AI into everything it does. Then there's China, which has a massive national strategy to be the world leader in all things AI by 2030. And you have Russia, which is aggressively developing these technologies to make up for disadvantages in other military areas. It is a classic arms race, for sure,
but this time it's being fought with algorithms, not warheads.
And the risks here are just staggering. First, escalation. Conflicts could unfold at machine speed, way too fast for human leaders or diplomats to catch up and de-escalate. Then you've got proliferation. I mean, what happens when this technology falls into the hands of rogue nations or even terrorist groups? And finally, the race itself is incredibly destabilizing. It just breeds mistrust, and as every nation scrambles for an edge, it makes the entire world a much more volatile, dangerous place.
So, after all that, where does this leave us? Well, it all comes back to this one central conflict, this core tension. How in the world do we maintain real human control and responsibility in an age of ever-increasing machine autonomy?
And this quote from the Rand Corporation really nails a potential path forward. The key insight is that accountability can't just be an afterthought. It's not enough to have a human with a veto button at the very end. True, meaningful control means human oversight at every single stage, from the initial design to the data it's trained on, to how it's deployed, and finally to how it's regulated. It has to be woven in from start to finish.
Which leaves us with this final, really challenging question. As artificial intelligence gets faster, more powerful, more autonomous, can our human wisdom actually keep up? The ultimate test isn't going to be whether our machines are smart enough to win wars, but whether we are wise enough to guide them. And that's a question we all need to be thinking about. Thanks for joining us for this explainer.